Stanley Kubrick's film 2001: A Space Odyssey is the greatest film I have ever seen. Why do I claim that 2001 is the best film? Is it because of its gorgeous cinematography or its groundbreaking effects? While those are both impressive feats, no, it's much more than that. Well, let's discuss what normally makes a good film. An interesting story, detailed plot, nuanced characters. These are all aspects to almost all of the films that are often regarded as the greatest of all time. 2001, however, reinvented the art form of cinema and the way it is interpreted by making the film much more important than just its story and characters. On the surface level, 2001: A Space Odyssey is boring and really not that amazing. The story, after a 20-minute sequence of apes, follows the discovery of a mysterious black monolith on the moon. This monolith, as the audience knows, even though the characters do not, is in the ape sequence, showing that it is an eternal thing beyond the concept of time. The film then jumps to 18 months after the discovery on the moon, with two astronauts, Dave and Frank, on a mission to Jupiter. Accompanying Dave and Frank are three other astronauts in a state of hibernation, as well as HAL 9000, the ship's computer. HAL eventually becomes the antagonist of the film, killing Frank and the three astronauts in hibernation. Dave and HAL then, both fighting for their survival, engage in a battle which you think would rival the most dramatic battles of cinematic history: man versus machine. Only it doesn't. It is very anticlimactic. This film consistently misses its mark dramatically and often feels boring. What adds to this feeling is the acting, which is quite bland.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
Considering Kubrick's career has practically revolved around films with dramatic overacting, this decision must be purposeful. Why? Because the story itself doesn't matter. The characters don't matter. All that matters is the themes, the messages, the star child. At the end of the film, Dave goes through a psychedelic yet spiritual journey which ends in his death. As he is dying, a new being, the star child, is present. Throughout the film, humanity's weaknesses are displayed, and now this new being, this better being, must replace humanity. The movie ends with the star child looking at Earth. To say that 2001 is a normal film would be wrong. Famed film critic Roger Ebert wrote that Kubrick invites audiences to contemplate the film, to stand outside it as a philosopher might, and think about it. No film before 2001 had this scale. And even now, 56 years later, only a handful, such as Andrei Tarkovsky's Mirror and Terrence Malick's A Tree of Life, have come somewhat close. But even those films are extremely character-driven about a certain specific person or group of people. 2001: A Space Odyssey is not about a specific person, but rather humanity as a whole, from its beginning until its end. There's so much more in this film that I haven't even discussed, such as the human fascination with violence, the dangers of artificial intelligence, and the nuclear paranoia of the 1960s. But ultimately, Arthur C. Clarke, who co-wrote the screenplay with Stanley Kubrick, said, "If you understand 2001 completely, we failed. We wanted to raise far more questions than we answered. So I'll end this with a few questions. What is the monolith? How does the monolith move? What is the star child? Does Hal show emotion? Is there a better film than this?" As for the last question, I think there is an answer. The answer is no.